Okay, recording in progress. Fine. Today we'll take up effect of queuing on the recall. It's a very, very simple experiment to administer as well as to take the test. It is a test based on the memory. You know, what's with memory? How do we form memory? We encode, we store, we retrieve. So this is what is part of the introduction: memory encoding, memory storage, memory retrieval. We have covered this in cognitive psychology. We'll come back to this later. Let's mainly focus on how to conduct the experiment. When I mean how to conduct the experiment, as psychology students, we are mainly assessed on how we instruct our subjects to take up the test and how comfortable we make them feel. We have to build a rapport and all that. Okay, so there are few things that goes common across all the experiments. Those are controls and precautions. Now, what do you generally control when you're taking one-on-one experiment or a group experiment or the experiments that we have been doing? Is that you must first build a rapport. Second, the room that you choose to conduct the experiment must be quiet enough. It must not be noisy and all that. You must make sure that there are no disturbances from other people or other things outside. You must not put any pressure on the subject or persuade the subject. So these are some common controls and precautions. However, some experiments like this will have special controls and precautions. Now, this is an experiment of memory. So every word that we listen or everything or every visual that we see will form. How long it will stay is subjected to many other factors. This particular thing has a lot to do with audio than visual, okay? Because you will be presenting the words verbally. So what you need to keep in mind is that the time of exposure is limited to 2 seconds per word. Whenever you tell out a word, say for example, table, you have to give 2 seconds gap and next tell the other word, chair, or something like that. Okay, let's use this. This is a better, PDF for us to understand how the experiment is done. Let's directly go to this. Okay. Okay, fine. Let's go through all.
Andrea, one second. So everyone here kind of know what the experiment is about and how we did that, or anyone who doesn't have any clue?
No, we kind of know.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Sandhya. Let's continue.
Okay.
I have one more question. So any questions should be taken in the last, or should we ask as and when you're doing?
I think it's better to take in the last.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So what is a cue? Cue is one of the techniques to retrieve memory. So a cue is defined as a signal which elicits behavior based on previous experience. So a cueing is prompting. Okay. In the recall experiments, many errors are caused by retrieval problems. It has been demonstrated by experiments that the problem of recall is related not only to storage, also the way in which information is stored. Okay, if you remember now, when we took the experiment, the first set of words that were presented to us were random. Okay, so that would have not been a major impact on our memory because it was random. We found it hard to connect. Then next set of words we could remember because after the presentation of words, we were given some categories. So we remembered some words. Oh, this belonged to this category. For example, honeybee belonged to the category insect and chair belong to the category furniture. So we had a better way of retrieving our memory. Even the presentation rates for both the series were same. The rate of speech, the tone of voice, the number of words presented, the time taken to present, the time given to recall, everything was same. Now, the only factor that differed was this cue. You were cued by giving 5 categories, which helped, which facilitated your recall better. So this will facilitate recall when proper cues are given. The cued recall procedure is a form of memory testing that incorporates particular cues for recall of specific information. In a typical cued recall experiment, the to be recalled, TBR, okay, we can also, the to be recalled information consists of words in a study list. The cues are reminders that have been carefully selected based on their relationship to the TBR words. That means the selection of words in the second list is purposefully selected so that they fall into those 5 categories. Usually cues are other words related to the TBR words, though figures, colors, etc. can also be used. In most cases, one cue is given for each target word, though in some cases more than one cue may be given for the same target word. So say, for example, orange is both a fruit and a color. So if there are 2 categories like color and fruit, and there is a word orange, you will be still confused. However, the words are selected in such a way that it does not overlap between the cues given to you. Now, what do you need to know about this experiment or the type of the experiment? What does it contain? Okay, this is what it contains, or these are the factors that are kept in mind while designing the experiment. Now, there are 5 things. Experiments have shown that recall depends on following factors. So the recall of the second or the first, okay, depends on these 5 factors. The type of the material, the number of items per cue, the rate of presentation, the mode of study, the nature of the cue. This could be a Viva question. Okay, what are the factors that the recall depend on? Or recall depends on what factors, which factors, and all that. Number of factors, which are those and stuff. This could be a possible Viva question. So type of materials, the material used is usually verbal because it is easy to work with and easy to organize into categories. So verbal does, of course, verbal means both written and said. Both written and said words are verbal. So the experimenter is presenting and the subject is taking and trying to recall and write it later. So that is the verbal part. The number of items per cue. The effect of list length is less prominent in cued recall than in free recall. It's just about the total. We have, I think, 30 items. So it is actually less prominent how many items you select. You can also select 45, 60 or anything, but it's just that it will make it more complex. So for the experiment's sake, for the simplicity of the experiments, this particular experiment we have has 30 items. How many? 30. That is something that we need to remember. You know, Viva can be as silly as how many items are there in each series. Affect cued recall, free recall. Free recall is the first set where you don't have any connection and you're trying to remember forcefully without any connection. Okay. The rate of presentation, I said, you know, how many words do you tell in how much time? I might choose to tell A, B, C, D. This was roughly one word, 1 letter per second. I can tell A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. I can tell 2 letters per second. So how many words are, in this particular experiment, how many words you choose to present is something, a major factor. However, it is best to present 1 word every 2 or 3 seconds. 1 word, 2 seconds gap, another word. Then the mode of study. If, for example, the subjects think of the meaning of the words rather than the letters, recall will be better. I didn't understand this. The mode of study. Does anyone want to pitch in for this mode of study? Then quite.
I think what they mean by mode of study is how we encode or this one emphasize or elaborate on the word that we're looking at. If you're thinking about a table, the minute you say the word table, if you're just picturizing a table, you might not remember it. But if you elaborate it or decode it, saying that a table is an item which we keep things on, it has 4 legs, or different purposes of it, if you can remember all this or recollect all this.
Maybe your association with the particular word,
exactly,
and just the word itself.
There is this Craig and Lockhart theory of information processing, where the levels of recall are varied based on how we perceive the information. If we perceive the information visually, the retention will be less compared to auditory, which is lesser than semantic. The semantic, when you understand what it is, where you will be able to easily recall and remember that information, what you are processing.
Yeah.
Okay. Now moving further. Thank you, Shivali and Vasu. I'm not able to see who spoke.
It's okay.
Nature of the cue. Nature of the cue in this particular experiment are the 5 categories. The 5 categories are the cues. Okay. Background. The following experiment aims to study the relative efficiency of cued recall and free recall. So we are basically trying to understand whether cueing will facilitate the memory or will it not facilitate the memory. And who gave this, who conducted this experiment initially, who gave this experiment? G. Wood, this person. Wood's effect of cueing on recall, G. Wood. Okay, let's learn about him. Now, methodology, very, 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 very important. While I was speaking to one of the ma'ams about how can we expect our online practical exams to be, they said the whole Viva, the whole practical exam can just be Viva, but your Viva can be your methodology. You might have to speak out your methodology and not write it. That is one possibility. Okay, so tell the methodology. If the experiment asks, tell the methodology. You will start from problem, hypothesis. See, problem, hypothesis, variables, controls, plan, material. The more you do experiments, the more easy to remember. Okay, first you will prepare what all you need and what you're trying to assess. First is always a problem. Remember, let's take it in terms of research methodology, the steps involved in a research method. There are 10 steps, 10 or 7 steps. Let's keep it the same way. First, identification of problem. So you have a problem, to study the effect of cueing on recall. Very simple statement, to study the effect of cueing on recall. Here you don't mention any free recall, cued recall, anything. Effect of cueing on recall. Simple statement, by heart it, understand it, or write it in your own words. The meaning should be same. To study the effect of cueing on recall. 3 parts: effect, cueing, recall. To study, to assess, these are the common words that come in the problem. To assess the subject's general mental ability, to assess the subject, social adjustment or home adjustment, etc., etc. To study, to assess, to not to find out. To find out is a very colloquial word. To study, to assess are better of words. Sounds little professional. Next, this particular experiment has an hypothesis. Now, cueing has a positive effect on recall. This is a directional hypothesis. Okay, alternative directional hypothesis, because it clearly says positive effect. Okay, positive is something, it is giving a direction that cueing will facilitate recall. Okay, or queuing has no effect on recall would be a null hypothesis. Queuing has negative effect on recall would be a that would still be directional alternative hypothesis. Okay, so this is an alternative hypothesis, directional. Okay, queuing has a positive effect on recall. We are done with hypothesis. Then variables. Variables, there will always be, when you do an experiment, there will always be dependent and independent variable. Whenever there is hypothesis, definitely there will be variables. If not, variables are subjected. I mean, variables will be in every experiment. Dependent and independent are subjected to the experiment type and how it is done, what you are testing and all that. So independent variable is the presence of cues in the second series. You are giving cues, those 5 categories are independent, whether the subject recalls it better or does not recall it better than the free recall. That is independent. The 5 categories that you present, the presence of cues. When we tell cues here, cues are those 5 categories. I'm re-emphasizing them again and again. Cues are those 5 categories. The presence of cues in the second series is the independent variable. Next, the dependent variable. The dependent variable is the number of words correctly recalled in each list. Why is it dependent variable? Because first time it's a free recall. The list itself says free recall, and you are trying to find and you're trying your best to remember without any connection. And in the second thing, you have some connection. So that is dependent. So it is dependent on the cues, but the cues by itself is independent, but the number of words that you recall are dependent on the cues. So that is a dependent variable. The number of words correctly recalled, not just the words. You might recall all. That is still the number of words. How many number of words you recall? Okay, I'm stressing on the number. The number of words correctly recalled is the dependent variable. Moving on, precautions and controls. Anyone talking? If someone has nothing to ask or contribute, I request you to go on mute. Thank you. The time of exposure is limited to 2 seconds per word. So this is already pre-decided. You have to tell each word after every 2 seconds. Apple, ball.
Sorry to cut you. Quick question. Is there any significance of the 2 seconds?
It is just standard. You can see giving long gap might also end up making the subject forget.
Okay.
There be a,
may I try?
Yeah. Yeah.
So when this one okay, among the first few members who tried to do these tests, they came up stating that forgetting could be either a part because of interference or decay. I'm so sorry, I forgot the names, but so decay and interference. When you're talking about 2 seconds, there is no chance for interference. Okay, they're looking to see whether.
So interference happens after 2 seconds. Is that correct?
If you take longer period of time, there is more chance for interference. Okay, and if you're talking about decay, forgetting being a function of decay, then even those 2 seconds, like the rate at which you're talking about, okay, it generally you forget it because it is decaying in your memory. I don't know if I put it across correctly or not, but
I think you did. But a little sidestep. I think someone correct me if I'm wrong. I thought decay is a function of time. The longer you keep, more decays. The displacement, you can hold 7 plus or minus 2 items in your brain at one point of time. The more comes, the first one goes away. That is displacement. What is that? Decay and what else? Interference, right? That is interference, right? Makes sense?
Just a minute. I think I have it here. Give me a minute.
That magic number was 7, right? Plus or minus 2?
See, this is
plus or minus
audio.
2.
Yeah. This is audio memory.
Not just magic number is 5 plus or minus 2.
Yeah,
okay,
5 plus or minus 2 for audio.
Just a minute, guys. This there among my notes. I think I forgot.
Yes, we'll continue and we'll come back to that at the end, probably.
Yeah. Sure.
Yes, please. We'll come back to that.
Okay. Now, another thing to be careful about is you cannot present both the series back to back. You will first present a free recall series. The words, random words, you will present that first. Then 5 minutes, you will somehow engage the subject, talking some other thing, distract, or asking them, build a rapport basically, or give them a silent 5-minute pause. That is a must. Giving them back-to-back test will also influence their recall. Okay, they might just end up mixing the words of the first series and second series. So that 5-minute pause is very, very necessary. Is given between series to avoid fatigue. When we mean fatigue, this is mental fatigue, not physical fatigue. Okay. Next, plan. What is a plan? To compare the recall under the two conditions of free and true recall, each given a separate series. Basic 1-line plan. Now the plan sometimes goes to 2 to 3 lines also. Basically, you're using the variables and connecting to the hypothesis and making a statement. I will use these, I will use the experiment, in other words, say general mental ability. What is the plan? To administer the general mental ability test given by so on the subject and to interpret the scores. That will be a plan. So whatever you do, you have to just put it in 1 line to administer. Usually this will be the plan, okay? To administer this dash experiment on the subject and to interpret the scores according to the keys and norms. This is you can use this as a standard plan for every experiment, but you fill the dashes accordingly. Okay, here you will not use the subject initials. You will use only the subject initials and subject details. You will introduce the subject only in the discussion. Do not get the subject until then. Here, what are you doing? You're comparing the 2 series. Write it in your own words. 2 series under 2 conditions, free and true recall, each given in a separate series. Going on, what all you need to conduct the experiment? The materials. The 2 list of words with 30 words each, stressing 30 words each. The words in list A are selected randomly. The words in list B are selected in such a way that they fall into 5 categories with 6 in each word. 5 into 6, 30. So 30 is a standard thing. Then plain response sheet for recall of list A. For the recall of list A, if you remember, we were asked to write in some book or page. Write the number of words you remember, write the words that you remember from whatever list I said. Then for the list B, you have the sheet given. Response sheet with the names of 5 categories printed on them for the recall of list B. Now, what is that? This is the list. Flowers, stationery, furniture, fruits, and this is the second sheet. Okay, you need those. And what else you need? Clock. Because you're giving 3 minutes for them to recall. After you present the entire series, after you present series A, you will give them 3 minutes for them to recall and write. You will give a 5-minute gap. Again, you will present series B, and then you will give 3 minutes time for them to recall the list of number of words in list B. Okay. You might also want to, here you don't have any scoring keys and norms. Okay. You just have this as part of the material. You have this, the queuing recall list A and B, and you have this. Okay, and a plain sheet, stop clock. 4 things to remember. Okay. Otherwise, usually in other experiments, the materials involve scoring keys and norms, the questionnaire. You will not write the questionnaire, you will write this experiment given by this person. Okay, that will be your material. usual material for the other experiments. Okay, scoring keys and norms, definitely. Effect of cueing on recall does not need that. Going further, procedure. Whatever we are discussing right now, you have to just paraphrase everything, cut short and write it in 1 or 2 paras. That's all. That is the procedure. Now procedure, series 1, free recall. Instruct the subject that the experiment will present a list of words verbally. The subject has to listen carefully so as to recall them later. Present list A in an even tone at the rate of 2 seconds per word. Very, very important. Then give the subject the plain response sheet and ask him or her to recall the list A. Allow 3 minutes for recall. 30 words, 3 minutes, 2 seconds per word. Standard thing to remember for effect of cueing on recall. Then allow 5 minutes rest pause before beginning a series 2. This is a very simple experiment. However, let's understand it. Series 2, cued recall. Present list B in the same manner as list A, that is 2 seconds per word, and give them 3 minutes gap, 3 minutes time to remember. In even tone. Present the words in even tone with 2 seconds per word. Then give the subject the response sheet with the names of 5 categories and ask the subject to write down as many words as from the list as they remember in the 5 categories. You must ask them to put them into the 5 categories. Allow 3 minutes for recall. This is a procedure. Procedure is how you conduct the experiment. Do not start writing the methodology, then ask the subject, then instruct the subject, all that. But you know, this particular experiment procedure is put into series 1 and 2. Usually what will the other procedures contain is that see the subject comfortably, establish a rapport with the subject, give the questionnaire, instruct the subject clearly, tell the subject that there are no right or wrong answers. However, the subject has to give their immediate response and do not spend too much time over any question. Or if there is some time limit, ask the subject to answer as many questions as possible within the given time. Take the response sheet from the subject, score and interpret according to the keys and norms. This will be a procedure. Okay, so it's quite standard. You just need to modify it based on what experiment you're doing. But this will be the standard thing for the 3 experiments. Instruction to the subject. This is very easy, but very, very important. Very easy, but very important. Listen to the words attentively as I read them out, as you have to recall them later. Now, while you're instructing the subject, you will not tell that this is a memory test, this is a recall test, this is a test relating to cognitive psychology. I will, after you're done with the test, I will give you the results and you can find out what is your memory, all that. No bullshitting. Just one word. What you want, you take and you send them out. That's all. Listen to the words attentively as I read them out, as you have to recall them later. Simple. Say it in your own words. Or you can paraphrase and tell it. I will read out some words for you. Listen to them carefully. You will have to recall them later. Not might. You will have to recall them later. Okay, you're just cautioning them that you're driving their attention to your presentation of words. That's all you need to do. One line. Other experiments will have instructions. This is a questionnaire with so many number of questions. If it has time, you have so much time. Please give your immediate response. Do not spend too much time on one question. If you try to interpret the questions on your own, however, if you have doubts, I will help you. There are no right or wrong answers. Don't worry, your answers will be kept confidential. That will be your instruction for rest of the experiments. Standard, you have to just modify it based on what experiments you're doing, but the whole methodology for all experiments are quite standardized, or at least what they expect from us are quite standardized. Okay, Now, next, analysis. What are you trying to take out from this experiment? Find the number of words correctly recalled from each list separately. Calculate the difference in between scores of CDs 2 and scores of CDs 1. Now, this you don't need. Do not write anything related to group, mean, SD, or tell about it. You will be inviting self trouble. If you write them, or if you speak about them, then you're most probably, inviting the examiner to ask you questions related to statistics and research methodology. Better don't write it, and you don't require it also, because you're doing only individual discussion and individual testing. So you don't need that at all. Then points of discussion also, you will just write the first one. Discuss whether queuing has had a positive effect on recall. Points of discussion, hypothesis, conclusion, these are mostly related stuff. You paraphrase them and write it. Okay, now this is a table, very simple table. You will, after this, while you're writing, you will not write the table here. You will go to discussion. Okay, discussion is not here. I'll go, this might also not have discussion. And this also not have discussion. So after points of discussion is your discussion. Now, where will you write the table? Next to the discussion. Now, in the record, we had plain sheet, rule sheet. Now, I had told you that the table will always next to be the discussion, and the table will be on the plain side, discussion will be on the rule side. Table and discussion are for each other. Now, you will not have plain sheet and rule sheet and all that. You will have only sheets, same kind of sheets. You can either choose to write discussion and then table, or table and discussion. But it is always better to write the table first and then write the discussion. Because the examiner might not even look into your first 2-3 paras of discussion, because first 2-3 paras of discussion are always the aim of the experiment. The experiment was conducted on so and so subject. The scores of the subject was tabulated on table 1. This will form your first and second para of the discussion. So they can directly jump into the third para of discussion, which explains the table. So it's always better to write points of discussion and then table. Okay, tables, every table must have a heading, otherwise that table does not have value. If you just write table 1 and write these, that does not hold any value. This is very important. This is a table heading. You must write the table heading. Number of words correctly recalled by the subject under 2 conditions. Very simple statement. You can just paraphrase and write. Okay, this is the easiest one. Yeah, you can also.
Soundarya, one second. For tabulating and for preparing the record book, these are important information. From Viva perspective, do we have to go into these details? Just
yeah, because they might ask.
They might ask these things also.
Yeah, they might ask what are the 3 columns in the table.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah, Viva questions can be very stupid, very intelligent, very smart, very tricky, very easy, very cunning.
Okay.
Oh no. I have got in the 3 years, there have been a stupid examiner. Sorry, there have been examiners who have asked what are the column names in the table, or what is it? Tell me the table heading. There can be, they micro test the details that you know about the experiment. Some of them who think they are very smart micro testing. Okay, let me not give my personal evaluation, but however, these are very important.
Okay.
A name, every table will have name of the subject. Here you will write the initials. For example, myself, SMV. You will not write the full name of any subject. Never ever reveal the full name of the subject. Always use the initials of their name and surname. Use the initials. Free recall, queued recall, difference between queued recall and free recall. You don't even have to write 2 - 1, 2, 1. It's okay. If you just write free recall, Q recall difference, that will still do. That is all your table is. Discussion is not here. However, after giving the instructions, your instruction will be listen to the words carefully and attentively, as you will have to recall them later. This is your one-line instruction for the experiment. Then you will present. How will you present? You will present list A. Image, nation, ratio, region, lesson, solution, nut, cream, park. I was still very fast presenting it. You must present image, nation, ratio, region. This is how you need to present. Do not stress on any word. For example, image, nation, ratio. Do not use your voice tones. All the words that you present must be monotonous, even tone with equal number of gaps. That is 2 seconds per each word. This is your list of words. This will also be given. No examiner will ask, give me all the words in list A. You cannot remember all the 30 words. Or at least I don't think any examiner will be fool enough to ask all the 30 words. Okay. However, they might ask, give me an example of 5 words which could be on list A and 5 or 10 words which could be on list B. Then you will have to remember you just tell random words that you can think of in list A, but they should not be related. They should not be related. None of these words have relation with each other. Okay, image, nation, ratio. It's very hard to build a storyline also in between this. Okay, say bottle, phone, house, Soundarya. Don't use people's name. I just gave an example. Switch, cloth, everything, something like that, unrelated things. This is when they ask example for list A or free recall words. However, in list B, you yourself make 5 categories or 2-3 categories and choose words. The colors are not here. If I'm right, colors are not here. So you choose colors, you choose cities, and you choose say schools. Okay, or yeah, something like this. So you select 2-3 words. What was the colors? Black. Then just tell 1 word from each category that you thought of. That could be the example. If they ask, give a different example that's not there in your thing. But usually these are quite unexpected, but always prepare for the extreme or worse.
Can you just repeat what you said, Soundarya?
They might ask, give an example, give examples of words that could be on list B that is not from your test. That's not in the experiment. For example, here they have given furniture was one of the thing. Chair, table, cot, desk, these fall into furniture. Lily, rose, lotus, jasmine, these fall under flowers. Like that, there are 5 categories here. 5 categories and 6 words fall into each category. Now, if they ask for an example, you must find your own categories. Say subjects, psychology, science, social science, electronics. These are subjects. And next might be food or anything. So you find your own category that comes to your mind immediately. Pick 2-3 words that you remember, that you can remember, and tell them. That is if they ask for example of other words that are not in the experiment. Okay. So this is part of it. And how do you score? Scoring is pretty simple. You take list A. Now I will stop sharing. You see my face now. You take list A, each word gets 1 point. Each word gets 1 point. And what you do is, total number of words they have recalled. You must cross check if, see, for example, there might be a similar word, but that word could not be in the list. Say, for example,
Plant instead of tree.
Yeah, pencil and eraser. Pencil is there. They would have thought or assumed eraser is also there and written, but eraser is not in the list A. So you will not count eraser. So every word that is correctly recalled, which is also there in the list, will get a point of 1. Same thing holds good for list B also. If they have recalled it correctly as per the list, they will get the point. In second list, though there are 5 categories, the total of all 5 categories is your recall, number of words recalled for series 2. You will not count them separately. For example, in flowers, you have to get 6 words in each category. Say not everyone has all 6 words. However, they have recalled some other word. They have recalled 3 in flowers, 2 in furniture, 3 in something, 1 in something, and 2 in something, or something like that. The total of all will be the number, your score for the queued recall. Remember, the table had freed recall, queued recall, difference. Now difference should be 2 minus 1 or not 1 minus 2, because you're giving a directional hypothesis. Directional hypothesis says queuing has positive effect on recall. So you're assuming that Q will definitely have some effect, a better result than the free recall, which is mostly the case. Most of us are facilitated by memory unless we are really intelligent to pay attention for all those 30 words equally and remember that. Okay. So that is one thing. So your total of both the things will be the number of words correctly recalled, which is also there in the list. Correctly recalled word gets 1 point, and the difference is 2 minus 1. Queued recall minus free recall, and not free recall minus queued recall. That is it. The negative sign, if at all you get a negative sign, that holds no significance here, because it's just for the directional hypothesis sake and nothing else. Next, going further, discussion will have a standard procedure. Someone, I think Ritu, Rinku, Praveen, Praharsh can type this out. First line of discussion: the aim of the experiment was to study the effect of queuing on recall. For this particular, in general, the aim of the experiment was to assess the subject's dash using dash experiment or using dash scale or questionnaire. So that will be your standard first para. Next, it was, if at all there is hypothesis, you will write it was hypothesized as, or the hypothesis of the experiment was. You will always use past tense in the discussion, not present, not future, not simple continuous, no other tense, past tense, because that is what you have done, not you're doing. What you're telling what the subject has done, what you interpreted out of it. Always past tense. Was the hypothesis of the experiment was, or it was hypothesized as queuing has positive effect on recall. That is if you have a hypothesis. Otherwise, you directly jump to the subject details. The experiment effect of queuing on recall, or this experiment was conducted on the subject dash. After the subject, you mention the initials, SMB. For this example, the experiment was conducted or on the subject SMV, comma, aged. You must always mention the age, aged dash. I'm not telling my age, all of you know, comma, studying usually they'll be studying, or if they are working, you will write studying MAPC at IGNOU, or if working as a IT professional, working as a teacher in something. So it's a very small introduction. You're giving some details of the subject, but you're not revealing who the you don't know my age. Sorry, I'm not telling either. Okay. You're not revealing who the subject is, but you're giving the subject details. You're just not revealing the subject name, because finding out subject name with subject name and all other details is very easy. That is very confidential. So always use initials. Your next para will be the subject on this experiment was tabulated on table 1, comma, according to the table, accordingly, the subject scored.
Can you repeat that, please?
The
tabulated part
on the experiment was tabulated on table 1, comma, accordingly, the subject scored dash in free recall, dash in queued recall, and the difference was found to be dash. You fill in your particular scores. Okay, this is your third para. Next para, you will explain the scores. You will interpret the scores. The scores of the subject on table 1 can be interpreted as or was found according to the scores on table 1. It can be found that queuing has facilitated the recall of the subject. See, these are subjected to change. You just need to explain what they have scored and what you interpret out of it in 2-3 lines. Okay, so I think one of Priyanka or ma'am or someone had told it is observed that the scores of the subject on a table 1 indicates that the subject has recalled more number of words in queued recall than free recall, which proves the hypothesis stating queuing has positive effect on recall, and your discussion ends there for this particular experiment. However, your other discussions will be like, see, there are dimensions and there are subscales. There you will be writing, for example, accordingly, you will go back there. Accordingly, the subject scored dash in, say, home adjustment dimension, which can be interpreted as dash, indicating that the subject feels, say, interpreted maybe say satisfactory or unsatisfactory or something, indicating that if it is satisfactory, you will write 1-line interpretation, what you interpret out of it, indicating that the subject feels more comfortable at home and prefers, feel more comfortable at home and does not require any counseling in this dimension or something like that. It's usually it's better not to suggest or bring any counseling topic unless and until it is very poor, or if you really think the scores are very bad and you can suggest. Otherwise of which, don't get into writing that they need counseling, they need advice. Not required. It's good to stay neutral. You're just interpreting the scores according to the scores and keys given by the experiment. It's okay if you don't write the detailed interpretation also. Okay, that ends your discussion. Last will be your conclusion. Conclusion, you're again paraphrasing the whole discussion into one single line. The scores of the subject SMD on effect of queuing on recall proves the hypothesis which states that queuing has positive effect on recall. Now, the catch is some person can score more in free recall than queued recall. Then you will write, according to the scores on table 1, it is observed that the subject has scored, the subject has recalled more number of words in free recall than queued recall, which disproves the hypothesis stating that. And your conclusion will be, the scores of the subject on effect on queuing recall disproves the hypothesis, which states that. You will also write disproves if the subject has equal number of scores in free recall and Q recall. That is, if the difference is 0. If the difference is 0, and if a person has scored equal number of, if a person has recalled, say, out of 30, 12 and 12, that person is still disproving the hypothesis because it has had no effect. Chetan, want to tell something? Okay, because it has neither impacted positively or negatively. So Q has no impact at all. If Q had impact, then Q recall had to have more items. So that is still disproving the hypothesis. Don't get into, let's not overthink and over-explain that disproves the directional hypothesis, accepts the null hypothesis. None of the business is required. What hypothesis we are giving? If we are giving directional hypothesis or null hypothesis or whatever hypothesis, you accept or reject. That is all you need to write in conclusion if it has hypothesis. If the experiment does not have hypothesis, you will tell the scores of the subject on this experiment was interpreted to be satisfactory, unsatisfactory, or higher mental ability, something like that. Conclusions are always one-liners. That is your conclusion. So we tell, no, what is the conclusion out of this? So it's based on normal conversation, having a long conversation. This experiment, whole experiment procedure methodology is long. So someone might not just, especially effect of Quingall is such a simple, silly experiment that you just need to know the conclusion. If you know the conclusion, then you definitely know that they have recalled more number of words in the second list than the first list. You will not even look at the discussion. Even in discussion, you have nothing to explain. Don't get into explaining the theories, decay theory, interference theory. Nothing required. Nothing required. Stick to the point. What they asked us to do, keep it simple. They have given the structure, follows the structure, fill in the gaps according to the experiment. That is about it. And that comes to the end of effect of Quingall. Okay. So again, going through the methodology, just to recap, aim, hypothesis, okay, aim of the experiment, to study the effect of queuing on recall. Hypothesis, queuing has positive effect on recall. Next, variables, independent variable. The presence of cues on the second list. No, presence of cues is an independent variable. Dependent variable, the number of words correctly recalled in each list. Next, going. You have plan, precautions. Yeah, see that plan and precautions can go, can interchange. It's okay. That okay. If you interchange plan, of course, plan should be before procedure. Without plan, you can't execute something. So definitely plan has to be before procedure. Controls and precautions and plan can interchange. Just in case you forget, that's okay. Controls and precautions, words per second, present it in even tone, give 5 minutes gap between both series. These are the 2-3 things that you have to remember. Then plan to conduct the experiment, to present the 2 series of words, pre-recall and Q-recall with 5 minutes gap. That is your plan. Procedure, you will explain what do you do in first series, what do you do in second series, in 2-3 lines. After procedure, you go to instructions. Okay, instructions, always instructions come after procedure. Instruction is simple one-line instruction. Listen to the words attentively as you will have to recall them later. No Tom, Dick and Harry, nothing, no doing. Don't give them any other information. Because giving them information about memory test, recall test, I think will, they'll either make it more
influence, it will influence their mind.
It will influence, or they might get scared. That will also influence the recall. So do not give any other unnecessary information. After instructions, you have good. I've been doing.
Dependent variable will be your recall, the rate
Number
of
of
recall.
words, not just the words. The number of words you recall is a dependent variable.
And the independent variable would be either
The
decay or
cues,
interference.
the 5 categories.
Yeah.
It's okay if you write 5 categories in the second series, put in bracket cues. The word cue is very important throughout the experiment. You have to be re-emphasizing on the word cue. And after instructions is analysis. What do you analyze? The number of words correctly recalled in both the lists separately. And the next analysis is the difference between the number of words correctly recalled in between both the lists. That is your analysis. Next, you go points for discussion. Only one point for discussion, that is discuss whether queuing has positive effect on recall or not. Same thing, discuss whether queuing has positive effect on recall or not. Then table should have table heading, number of words recalled by the subject in each list. That is the table heading. Then in the table you have name, free recall, number of words on top, then which has 3 columns, free recall, queue recall, difference. You will fill the thing, go to discussion. Discussion has first the aim, hypothesis, subject details, was tabulated on table 1, the free recall score, queue recall score, difference. Observe, the scores on the table shows that the subject recalled more number of words or has recalled equal number of words in what and so reason, that ends, which disproves or proves or accepts or rejects the hypothesis. End of the discussion. Conclusion, one-liner, the scores of the subject on effect of queuing on recall proves the hypothesis, which states that blah blah blah. End of effect of queuing on recall. Done. Yeah.
Okay, just because we guys were talking about decay and interference, I'll bring back the topic. So this entire theory was based on Vog and Norman's theory of primary and secondary memory. And the experiments were conducted in such a way that they wanted to find out if forgetting was a function of decay or interference. And after the experiment was conducted, they realized that in case the whole process of forgetting was a function of decay, then what would happen is, with the rate of recall or the speed of recall, a person would forget. And when it comes to interference, if forgetting was a function of interference, it was found that no matter what duration or what speed or at what pace the words was said, it did not matter, because interference would, no matter whatever the reason, it would interfere with their memory or recall. Guys, anyone?
Don't think that is a concern here.
No, it is not concerned, because just because the topic came up, it might be a revision. That's the only reason I told us.
Bye, Jiba. Good night. Recording can be stopped. Are there any possible